coming up in this video, what is the funniest scene from Planes, Trains and Automobiles? There you go, mate.
Hey, thank you for that. Lovely. I don't know how to say this, but I've been looking at the analytics, just been looking at these, and I think we have to do less nostalgia stuff. I mean, mainly because, look, not everyone is going to be into VHS collections, Argos catalogs, and the entire Prince retrospective. No one's going to be into that, not all of them. So maybe we just need to, modern it up a bit. There's loads of stuff. I've been doing research, for example, so maybe we can go through some of the stuff you could do. For example, we could do the modern Marvel movies. Those are cool, and they've got some crazy fan theories, right? They're very popular. How about mumblecore rap, right? So it's the stuff on TikTok with the people who speak. Everyone's into that. Or speaking of TikTok, we could also do that weird food stuff. Have you heard about that pink mousse thing? That's a whole thing. RuPaul's Drag Race. We could be saying "Yas Queen" all the time. So maybe that then. Or I don't know. We could just go into things Harry Styles. Everyone's into Harry Styles. Why not Harry Styles? Taylor Swift. Just do all the Taylor Swift stuff. And because at the end of the day, who's really into the 80s anymore? You
want to hurt me? Go right ahead if it makes you feel any better. I'm an easy target. Yep, you're right. I talk about VHS too much, but I also embrace 4K Blu-ray. I could be a cold-hearted cynic like you, but I don't like to hurt people's feelings. Well, you can say what you want about me. I'm not changing. I like me. My cat likes me. My TikTok followers like me, at least 10%, because I'm the real article. What you see is what you get.
It's just a really long, convoluted way of saying we're just going to be doing trains, planes, and automobiles.
Yeah! Right, so Johann, how you doing? It's been a while.
It has been a while. The last time I was here, there was no mystery shed.
I know. What do you think? You liking it?
It's moody. I love it. It's literally got all the nerd memorabilia you can ever think of. I love it a bit.
I know. We've actually got an area for discussions now. We don't have to do everything in the same room.
I know, right? Yeah. How bizarre is that? I love that we have our own little bit, and I'm kind of excited for the one we're talking about today.
Yeah, so Planes, Trains and Automobiles is one of my favourite comedies of all time. I watch it around this time every year, even though in the UK we don't celebrate Thanksgiving really. Yeah. But it's a Thanksgiving movie. It's one of the most famous Thanksgiving movies. But it's, for some reason, it's just because it's also one of the most iconic comedies of all time. It doesn't matter that it's a Thanksgiving movie. It's but I just tend to go along and watch it this time of year because everyone else does.
Yeah, it feels more because we don't do Thanksgiving, but it definitely feels like it's an autumn time going to Christmas movie. It feels like it's the end of October, Halloween's finished, and that weird month and a bit before Christmas happens. This is what this movie totally falls under, and it does cheer you up a bit, getting you ready for the holidays, basically.
Yeah. So the topic of this video is what's the funniest scene. So we'll talk into that. We'll go into that shortly. But first, what's your relationship with this movie? Is it nostalgic too, or did you watch it later in life?
There's the thing, for me, I watched this later in life. This wasn't something that was playing around the house, but it was something that it was always in the zeitgeist. You know, it's going to be weird, but do you remember the sort of the DVD movie game Seen It?
Yeah.
I saw the iconic scene from that movie. When I saw that, I said, "What the hell is this movie?" And so I watched it, and in my teens after that, and realizing how ridiculously funny it is, and how weird it is. For a comedy, it's for a mainstream comedy. It's surprisingly weird, and I loved that from it. And ever since then, I watch it every so often just to get the right giggles, because the chemistry between John Candy and Steve Martin are just, what chemistry.
Yeah, and for me, I'm the same actually. I started, I think, I was aware of it when I was a kid, but I think this is a kind of movie that appeals more to adults than young kids.
Yeah.
So in my sort of 20s, I started to watch this movie, and it's like, because when you get to that sort of age, you're also more tuned to like drama in films as well.
Yeah.
And this film, drama's a big part of it. There's some really dramatic scenes in this film, and I love that mix of being hilarious, but then also moving at times.
And this the thing is, it surprises you when it becomes kind of serious and dramatic and melodramatic and heartfelt, because in between it's peppered with the weirdest, funniest skits, combined with then a really heartfelt moment like the speeches and the moments of bonding, or the moments where they're just getting so actually frustrated with each other that it becomes almost like a genuine drama. It's fascinating.
Yeah. Right, so let's go into the funny scenes then.
Yes.
So the first scene we talked about, is the meeting of Dell.
I'm not gonna lie, this is my reaction every time I'm in an airport. Every time I'm just bored out of my skull.
I love it when he recognises him, and he pictures him how he recognises him.
It's like,
That's how he knows. You see him in the airport with the taxi door.
I love
Usually very good with names, but I'll be
This movie is surprisingly clever with sight gags. It's so good at this. It's a you miss it moment kind of thing. If you didn't notice it, you watch it going, huh, that was weird. No, that's literally what happens, and it happens a lot in this movie. So those kind of sight gags really take me off guard, and that's why I love it.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't count that as one of the funniest scenes.
It isn't.
It is a good scene.
But what I love about that is that introduces the audience to the kind of weird humour that's going to happen in the rest of the movie. Because before then, it's just kind of like awkward, sort of passive-aggressive humour, especially when Steve Martin misses a taxi because John Candy runs in, just steals it. It's all passive aggressive, and then suddenly you get a sight gag like that. So it might not be the funniest scene, but it introduces the language of the humour that's going to happen in the rest of the movie.
Okay, yeah. So moving on, let's talk about all the bedroom stuff. When they get into the
You're
hotel,
making it sound saucy there.
When they get into the hotel and they realise that they're sharing the same room, and there's the one bed there.
The choice of curtain and bed. I like how they put the slightly weird, sexy music in the background.
The score in this movie is dead unusual but great. So 80s.
I love it. I wouldn't call it the funniest thing in the movie, but what I love about it, the soundtrack to this movie is weird to me.
Yeah.
It doesn't really match the tone of the movie. It's very 80s, one, because it's all weird synth pop stuff, but also you're sitting there going like, this kind of music doesn't, even if it's supposed to add tension or comedy to it, it actually doesn't. It just feels really weird and out of place.
Yeah.
He's not even doing anything. He's not even doing much, and it's just, you can see the tiny things is just really getting to him.
So that whole scene, it's got a lot of good things in it, but yeah, you get the whole the dilemma of them sharing a bed, and you get Dell being ridiculously annoying. Like, whether it's just first of all, it's like all the stuff in the bathroom. There's stuff everywhere in the bathroom, and he's just cluttered it with all crap. It's wet. There's socks everywhere. It's just everything over the basin. So that goes on to the annoying Dell bits in the bed. Like he has his ritual he does before he goes to sleep.
To me personally, there's two things. I think this is the funniest scene for me.
Okay.
Because it's how it just keeps going.
It gets worse though.
I know.
You remember the snorting?
Oh yes.
Why? Why? If I don't clear my sinuses, I'll snore all night.
You think he's done, and on top of that, realistically, they're not. It's not in hindsight. It's not really that annoying. It's all small things. But do you know when you get a small thing, and what if someone does like a bit of a snort? That's fine. But what if it's then there's something else, then there's something else, then there's something else, then there's something else, to the point that you explode, and no wonder you're annoyed at this guy. And I am bawling. First thing is he gets a book. Just gets a book. And you think, okay, he's just trying to read to go to bed. Then he gets the lighter because he's trying to read the book.
I mean, the first time you see that scene, you think he's going to accidentally light the pages on
You
fire.
wouldn't be surprised with this guy. And then later on, it's like, he's trying to get comfy. He's squeaking. He's scratching himself. He's snorting from different things, trying to clear out his sinuses. He's doing like proper bone cracking of his neck.
Yeah, it's like he does the knuckles first, then always breaks his own neck.
It's a very impressive neck crack.
Yeah.
Personally.
Oh.
But yeah, it's a whole thing of like, it's small escalation, but done in such a way that I can't stop laughing. It's one of my personal favourite little bits because it's just so funny.
And by the way, like Del, he's not deliberately trying to annoy him at all. That's just what he does before he gets to bed.
This is the thing, like really, Del as a character, he's not annoying on purpose. I think this is the thing. He's not maliciously annoying. This is just him, right? He just happens to be annoying to certain people. Obviously, Steve Martin's character finds everything he does absolutely irritating, right? But for like the speech at the end of the day, people like him.
Honey, I'd like you to meet Del Griffith. He's got some amusing anecdotes for you. Oh, here's a gun so you can blow your brains out. You'll thank me for it.
At that moment, you can see his heart break right there.
Also, he's very upset, but he's very angry, but he's passive-aggressive.
Yeah.
It's a really good performance.
It's very, very subtle. Because that's what he is. It's weirdly, even though he's his quirky character, a lot of his emotions are subtle, unlike, as I see Martin's here, who's just like loud and it's just obvious.
Here we go.
You want to hurt me? Go right ahead if it makes you feel any better. I'm an easy target. Yeah, you're right. I talk too much. I also listen too much. I could be a cold-hearted cynic like you. But I don't like to hurt people's feelings. You think what you want about me. I'm not changing. I like me. My wife likes me. My customers like me. Because I'm the real article. What you see is what you get.
Yeah! Motivational.
And goes in.
Sticks up for himself.
And it's a really big moment. It's a thing you mentioned with the drama and how it all flicks in between and how we realise that actually Steve Martin, well, he is. Throughout the entire movie, he's a jerk.
Yeah.
He's not a likeable character for at least 90% of the movie.
No, but there are times when you understand why he's annoyed. So
Oh, 100%. There's
it
so
flips,
much going
doesn't
on.
it? It flips from being you're on his side, then you're not on his side. Here we go.
To be honest, it's quite sweet, this.
It's like they're made up.
Oh, it's adorable. Personally, I find it adorable. I think I'm a big spoon guy. I like being the big spoon. After that scene, we end up in the morning after, which, personally I find adorable.
I mean, in this film, there is 2 makeup scenes.
Yeah.
And they're both great. They're both hilarious in different ways. But the first one is obviously them waking up, cuddling.
It's adorable, personally. Because John Candy kisses him on the cheek, almost thinking it's almost like he's just having memories of his wife, and go like, "Oh, you're adorable, kiss you." And then he wakes up going, "Why did you kiss me? Why are you holding my hand?" It's like, "Where's your other hand?"
Yeah.
Oh. Huh. Why did you kiss my ear? Why are you holding my hand? Where's your other hand? Between two pillows.
There are two pillows! So, like, be honest. I think it would have been perfectly fine if he didn't have his hand in his butt.
Now this bit, their reaction is to go really macho. Look.
Grr.
See that Bears game last week? Yeah, home game. We're gonna go all the way.
Gentlemen out there, it's perfectly fine to cuddle your buddy in case he needs it. But crikey, it's so funny.
It's interesting actually because did you know were you aware there's lots of deleted scenes to this movie?
Yeah.
And John Hughes just shot so much, and loads of it is in the movie. And one of the things that was removed was the fact that the wife character thought that Steve Martin's character was having an affair, and this Dell was another woman.
Wow.
So when you've got, if you had that in the movie, and then you had this whole scenario where they end up cuddling and stuff like that, it's kind of like, well, it's
that in a weird way. Do you know what? That makes the ending so much more interesting now when you say it like that.
Yes.
Because when the reveal happens and you realise, oh, you're not having an affair with someone, there is a literal guy called Dell.
Yeah, did you notice that the wife looks really relieved that it's John Candy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So oh wow. So that means there's a whole layer of movie that we're missing out on because of all the deleted scenes.
Yeah, and in the upcoming release, the 4K release of Planes, Trains, they've got all the deleted scenes in there restored, so you can watch all the extra stuff. Because in the movie there's a bit where Dell's got a black eye, but you didn't see how he got that black eye. They had another falling out before the end, before making up again. And in that, they had a fist fight, I think. So there's a bit in the scene where you're thinking, Sophie, my girlfriend, noticed actually. She was like saying, why has he got a black eye there? And I had noticed it before, but there is a bit later on where John Candy's randomly got a black eye.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's lots of stuff removed, so I'm interested to see what a lot of that stuff is.
There was other bits as well, like for example the thing with the beer can. We didn't see a lot of the scene with that weird beer can in the vibrating table.
No,
it just happened to be. And then it says, oh, you spilt it everywhere. We didn't see that really as a scene. So we have to assume that happened because we saw John Candy on a vibrating bed, which by the way, is that still a thing? Because if it is, what are you doing with it?
Right, so let's talk about one of the best, probably the best Steve Martin scenes.
Yeah.
When he absolutely flips at the car rental place.
Yes! Oh, I love her. I've loved her. I love her in every movie because she's just this perfect caricature.
Look how fired up he is.
He is so fed up right now.
Yeah, well, I'll see you tomorrow then.
That is annoying though, when you're waiting to be served and someone doesn't come off the phone. Especially if it's like with a friend, you can tell it's not a customer.
It's also annoying the other way around as well. Like if someone's going, I'm finishing up here.
Welcome to Marathon. May I help you?
Yes.
How may I help you?
Start by wiping that dumbass smile off your rosy cheeks.
Jesus Christ.
Automobile. Four and a seat. And I really don't care for the way your company left me in the middle of nowhere with keys to a car that isn't there. And I really didn't care to walk down a highway and across
Jesus Christ.
to get back here to have you smile at my face.
I wonder how many there are in this scene.
Ed, when you edit this, put a counter up right there.
May I see your rental agreement?
I threw it away.
You are an idiot.
Oh boy, what?
Hey!
And that's the reason why the film is a 15 in this country, and it's like something like, was it NC-17 or PG-13. No, I don't know what it is.
So it has to be someone like a PG-13 or something. When you're thinking
basically,
like,
it couldn't be just a regular PG.
Yeah.
Because of all that swearing.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, so it had to be. I mean, it couldn't even be like a 12A, I don't think. In this, ours it is. Yeah, it's a 15.
And it's predominantly because really a lot of the movie isn't really like very adult or scandalous, but it does have a lot of swear words in it.
And they did say to him when they were talking about like the rating of the movie, if he cut a lot of that, if John Hughes cut a lot of that out, it would be down. The rating would go right down. He didn't want to cut any of it. He wanted all that swearing in. He says we need all this swearing in the scene.
But it's funny, that scene, because when Steve Martin is ranting at this woman, basically being the obnoxiously annoyed customer, and then by the end of it she goes and says like, so where is your release form, where is all this? I threw it away. Well,
can I see your rental agreement?
I threw it away.
Because you do.
Yes.
You know when you just want to get out of there and it's a receipt of some kind. Yeah. You don't bother. You just chuck it away, don't you? Like.
But then the problem with that is well, now you acted like a jackass, and now I can't help you because you don't have the thing I need. So you get this 2 minute, like 2 or 3 minute constant F-bombs.
Yeah.
Only to get that punchline is really, really good.
What's great though is about that scene, I would normally hate someone, because I work in retail, so like in my day job, so like I would normally hate someone who comes in and starts swearing and stuff like that. But like Steve Martin's such a great, likeable, charismatic actor that you're frustrated with him and you're kind of cheering for him at this point because she's being annoying as well.
Yes.
I think. At the beginning of the scene, she's being quite annoying, isn't she?
Yeah, because she's not like doing the thing instantly. But here's also the thing that is why it's cathartic in both ways, because Steve Martin's character's always been, for literally 90% of the movie, he is a jerk. Like, he is really not a likable character. So when he's ranting and raving and laughing, and then it says like, well, you've done a stupid thing, and then she goes over and says, you're effed, then that's almost like, well, yeah, that's funny as well, because here is a jackass being a jackass and getting his comeuppance as well. So you get it from both sides. That's why that scene works so well. You can look at it from both ways and it's still funny.
Yeah, it is absolutely brilliant. Right, so let's talk about the most iconic scene. I think when everyone thinks about planes, trains, well, I mean, because of the parodies and stuff, nowadays people do think about the "you want to hurt me" kind of scene. But I think before all that sort of kicked in, like when before Family Guy parodied and stuff like that.
Well, you think what you want about me, I'm not changing. I like me.
I think everyone thinks of the car accident scene.
It is what a piece of cinema that is.
You're going the wrong way!
This is the moment. Oh my giddy aunt.
It's so dramatic. The music is like an action thriller or something like that.
It's so good. But it leans into the weirdness of this movie, because it's slapsticky at the beginning, and then the car spins like I don't know how many spins, and it's comical. And then when I love the reaction when Steve Martin realizes he's actually on the wrong lane and they're all driving the wrong way.
Yeah.
And again, makes no sense, but the car driving between 2 goddamn lorries, and in between you see shots of literally Steve Martin and John Candy as skeletons for no reason, by the way, and then John Candy dressed entirely in a devil outfit, cackling maniacally, again for no reason, and then brake, and then literally clawed and stuck to the front of the back of the dashboard.
It's like, Steve Martin's like, this is it now, I'm going to die and I've just met the devil kind of thing.
It's so good, but that's the thing, like, it's surreal, because again, it was introduced right at the very first sketch we talk about. These random sight gags that don't happen at all in the rest of the movie, but just be wary that it will happen randomly, and when it does, it is hilarious.
Some of the bits in this movie that make me laugh the most are just some of the in-between bits or the build-ups to the big scenes. Like, for example, in that scene, in the car ride, I love the exchange of insults.
Count Dracula can't get out of his coffin properly. It's just...
Why does it go that way?
Whatever this chair is, I want one.
Why don't you start screwing around with these damn things? You can never get comfortable. Quit screwing around with
That's very
You
true.
gotta get comfortable. You have a bad
You gotta
back?
get comfy.
Well, I do, and it hurts like a bugger. There's only a couple good positions. They're going to break. Oh, lovely. Lovely, lovely.
I'm gonna quote that. Me and Sophie quote that all the time. That lovely.
It's like just reassuring it. It's all lovely right now.
I can't reach my feet to get my shoes off.
That's just fine. Leave your shoes on.
I can't relax if I got my shoes on.
I don't care to breathe your foot odor. Leave the shoes on.
Gee, it must be swell to be so perfect and odor-free. You know, there's plenty of things about you that bother me, but I'm decent enough not to bring them up.
Really?
That's right, yeah.
What do I do that bothers you? I'm just
Well,
curious.
there's lots of things.
Oh, name one. Why don't you
There's
name
quite
one?
a few things. You want me to name one? Yeah, fine. You play with your balls a lot.
Do not play with my ball.
You do.
Larry Bird doesn't do as much ball handling in one night as you do in an hour.
Are you trying to start a fight?
No, I'm simply stating a fact, that's all. You fidget with your nuts a lot.
Steve Martin's character, he's so arrogant that he thinks there can't be anything wrong with me. So, name one thing that annoys you, and he goes, you play with your balls a lot. And he goes, and he's so offended, he's horrified. He's like, I do not play with my balls.
The whole thing, all the dialogue throughout the entire movie, which is why I have to give this movie praise, it's the ultimate passive-aggressive insults.
Yeah.
Every dialogue they have between each other, even when they're nice to each other, it's somewhat passive-aggressive. Like, you can clearly see that they're insulting each other, but not being like, like, until it gets really heated sometimes, but most of the movie is just like, well, you do this thing, and it's like, well, you do that thing, and it's that kind of sassy, which is so well played, and it happens all throughout the movie. Even the weird slapstick moments is almost like, look, why are you doing this thing to me? What are you doing? It's so good.
It's interesting because over the years I've changed who I side with, because when I first started watching this movie, I was really on board with Steve Martin's character, and I was really annoyed by John Candy's character. So I was always on his side until obviously the end when it's kind of sad. But like now, as I've got older, I've become more and more of a fan of John Candy, and now I'm pretty much on his side throughout the entire movie. I'm just championing like John Candy
because he's really, like we said, he's a lovable guy. He's not a jerk on purpose, unlike Steve Martin, who he will do nasty things on purpose to hurt people. Because he will literally, because he's annoyed at this guy, and so he vents, which good to vent is good. You don't keep it up bubbling up in yourself. You need to say something if it's annoying you, but he does it in, let's say, the least pleasant way. So that's why I've always sided with John Candy's character. Even though he's annoying, he's not malicious. I mean, look, you know what's weird? It's like the whole thing with this movie is the last part of it. Yeah, this is kind of, well, it's bad luck, but it's also kind of his fault. Smoking in the car, burned the whole thing, not paying attention when he's going the wrong side of the road. This is kind of his fault this time, admittedly. But
you can't let him freeze to death.
He can't let him freeze to death, though. The man's got a soul.
Is this a good combo or what?
No. Do we use a tequila? No.
Beep. I'm going back to Jamaica. Jamaica, man. Go to Jamaica. Have some rum, man. Dig it. Irie, man. Oh, shit. You know, when I'm dead and buried, all I'm gonna have around here to prove that I was here was some shower curtain rings that didn't fall down. Great legacy, huh? At the very least, the absolute minimum. Got a woman you love to grow old with, right? You love her, don't you? much trouble as I've had on this little journey, I'm sure one day I'm gonna look back and laugh.
You think so?
Oh, I'm laughing already.
Oh, God.
Oh, when that car blew up.
Was that seat hot or what? I feel like a big whopper. Turn me over, I'm done on this side. I'm afraid to look at my ass, you know? I'm gonna have those griddle marks on my ass.
Talking about the burnt out car.
Yeah.
What is that?
Potato chips.
They're everywhere!
I love this bit.
Why do I feel like I'm at summer camp?
He opens the door just to laugh.
Just like you would do at summer camp.
That's got another moment in it where once you're revisiting the film,
Yeah.
the moments where John Candy's talking about his wife,
Yeah.
as if she's still alive, it's even more like it hits you even more here when you see it, because it's like, oh, as an audience member, this is why this movie's great for repeat viewings.
Yeah.
On the first time round, you just assume that the wife's alive and he's going to go back to her at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
But then, so Steve Martin says there's the whole thing where he says like, at least you've got a woman waiting for you at home, like that. And he's doing this in his performance in his face. He's kind of agreeing, but at the same time, you can see that he's sad about it, and he knows he hasn't got that.
And he's also saying that as well, like saying like, oh, God damn it, I haven't told him really, haven't I? I've tagged him on thinking that he's still, you know, that you know, and I think the reason why he doesn't want to admit it because he's always been so annoying to him that the last thing he wants to do is to fall out with this guy again by saying he's technically been lying to him. Well, not lying to him, just been holding this big thing.
It's easy for him to just pretend that she's still with him, you know.
I mean, it also helps him as a person in general to think like, you know, she's still technically alive spiritually, and it leads to a very heartwarming, very sort of, I think and this is what I'm talking about. For about 90% of the movie, Steve Martin's characters kind of all like that until pretty much the last 15 minutes, where. All this is happening, everything's starting to click, he's on the train, everything clicks, he goes back to find him still there and confronts him and says, oh, you know, you don't have a home, don't you? Come with me and join my family. It's really sweet.
Del, what are you doing here? You said you were going home. What are you doing here?
I don't have a home. Marie's been dead for 8 years.
God damn it. So touching, this, honestly. It's really
so sad. It makes me almost tear up. So he takes him home with him. It's so heartwarming.
God damn it. Bring the lovable oaf with you. God damn it.
Back to your big American mansion.
One lucky guy, Neil.
Hi, kiddo.
Yay! Oh, that's adorable.
Del Griffith, I want you to meet my father-in-law, Walt. My mother-in-law, Peg. Hi. My mother, Joy. Well, my dad, Mark. Glad to see you, son. Welcome, Del. This guy's Neil Jr. My little Jim, Marty.
The little guy, there's Neil Jr. I
Somewhere
love
around
him.
here is my little baby boy, Seth.
Aww. Totally heartwarming, this.
And, I can't be a friend of mine.
No, Mr. Griffith.
Hello, Mrs. Page.
Every time you go
away. Oh my god.
I think there's a freeze frame on John Candy's face at the end. That's the perfect way to end the movie.
Perfect. Right
There
there.
we go.
Right there. That sums up the right ending of the movie right there. It's wonderful.
Right, so now we've talked about all the scenes.
Yeah.
Let's try and think about which is our favourite. I suppose we can just say individually, like, what's your funniest scene? What is my funniest scene? So what about you?
For me, I think to me personally, it's everything in the bedroom when it's the nighttime sequence to me. Because I think what's really like about it is because the sleeping routine is just done so well, and as a sound guy in particular, I adore it because you can hear it's a tiny thing like a paging or the flipping of the page or a scratch or a cracking of bones, but it's done in a fashion where it does escalate, and I cannot stop laughing just looking at Steve Martin's face slowly but surely bubbling over. And for some arse reason, it's really, really funny, and it builds. And the thing is, right afterwards, it does lead to the famous speech. But what it is like it's finally building up to the point to get to that. Yeah. And I'm constantly laughing, despite being the thing that leads up afterwards. I think that performance and that sound design of that scene alone is solid gold for me.
Yeah, the sound design's heightened as well because it's obviously from Steve Martin's perspective. Isn't it? You're hearing these really loud, quiet sounds.
Loud. A page turn sounds like it's a goddamn Titanic ship going across.
Yeah,
it's brilliant.
I think I'd have to agree, because I love the moving scene at the end of that, but I love everything in that bedroom scene, and it really makes me laugh about the annoying stuff in the bathroom, but I think the annoying stuff in the bed is the highlight of the comedy.
Yes.
But then you've also got the makeup, waking up cuddling, which is a great end to that whole chapter.
In a weird way, it kind of sums up that whole scene sums up almost the entire mood of the movie. Like you could just watch that and almost get the entire point of the film.
Yeah.
And I think that's great. I mean, all the other scenes are great. Like, they're all really good in their own way, especially the visual sight gags, the weird use of music, the passive-aggressive dialogue.
Yeah.
But for me, that sequence in the first motel room is spot on.
Yeah, it's tough picking just one favourite scene because there are lots of little golden nuggets throughout those other scenes.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is definitely... I'm glad we agree on that.
Yeah, I think so.
That's definitely the funniest all-rounder of a scene.
Yeah, because it sums up the whole film.
Right, I think that's it then.
Yeah.
Right. See you next time, guys. Take care.
Adios.